I guess it was like the early noughties. Suddenly there was this real lull. So post Britpop, actually I was in a few little Britpop bands as well during Essex, but there was this real lull post Britpop that had died. You know, we had this lovely time of like 94 to 97, all these great bands coming out again. So in my mind, the big steps were Manchester, and then I guess we had a bit of shoegaziness, and then we had grunge, and then we had Britpop, which was a glorious time, and then that died a bit, and we had kind of a bit of breakbeat, a bit of more of the serene bands like Travis and Elbow and these kind of bands, and then it pumped back up with White Stripes, Strokes, and those kind of bands coming back over. But before that, there was a lot of electronica in East London. And then I started to see a lot more guitars come through. And just as we'd released this electronica album with Main's Ignition, it wasn't electronica, but more electronic, kind of guitars come in and stole that scene. But because James Malone was managing that band Main's Ignition, I think he got me involved with the White Sport. The White Sport were initially an electro duo of Andrew Aveling and a guy called Magnus. So I joined them as the drummer. And then there was this huge, really exciting time in East London, this transition. And then the White Sport got more bandy. At the same time, James had met Pete, and he had wanted to get out of the Libertines contract, or wanted to kind of just do more solo writing. So he formed this moniker Babyshambles. So at the time, all this stuff was really exciting. So we had one leg in the Libertines still, just contractual obligations. I think there was a lot of tension there. James took him under his wing, and that was the start really of that whole scene. We were in the band called the White Sport, supporting Patrick and myself, and I think Patrick and Peter had formed, you know, this alliance together. And then I just ended up fluidly getting involved with that really. So I was all part of the traveling circus it was moving through.
Yeah, I remember Pat saying that you'd play 2 gigs at the same night with the White Spot and Babyshambles. Was that happening at some point?
Yeah, I think Pete was a bass. I think it was our bass. I mean, we couldn't fit enough people in the car, so we were just trying to do cameos. So right, you can do drums on this. Yeah, so we were supporting, probably that would have been like 2003 maybe, or 4, supporting Babyshambles and as the White Sport, and I could see them getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, he'd already got a lot of traction from the Libertines anyway, so a lot of press were interested, and a lot of people were following his solo moves. But I could see the band getting bigger and bigger. It was mayhem in those early days. You know, I weren't even on stage with him. I could see the level of, I don't know, of just frenzy that was following him really more so. So yeah, supporting that band, and then still playing with Patrick a lot. We'd often just play together anyway, just him and I, just jam. And then, yeah, then the phone call to say Gemma's not in the band anymore. Do you want to join? And that's where it all began, I guess.
Yeah, was it a bit of a no-brainer at that point then?
I don't know. It was a weird one because I'd started to move in this direction of thinking, okay, I want to do band stuff, but I know that there's not much money in it, so I need to try and pace myself and work out a way where I can continue doing the life I like. So teach 2 or 3 days a week whilst doing music. I was never one of those kind of people that just go, yeah, I'll jump into it and, you know, sleep on couches and stuff. I think I knew I had to make ends meet somewhere, and I knew that all the bands I was in, none of them were making, there's no money in it. So I always knew I had to be quite grown up, as it were, and sensible, and not just throw it all to the wind. So I did think about it overnight, and I thought, God, this would be massive. And if I join, because I could see the trajectory they were on. So I just thought, if I don't do it, I'll always regret it. So I just said yes, and the next day gave all my notice in for everything I was doing, teaching jobs. I was in the middle of a master's as well. Just gave all of that notice in, and just thought, all right, let's just go and see what happens.
Yeah, yes. And then, so what was that, 2004? Or was it
2005? Yeah, that was like late 2004, and then early 2005, I guess, when I formally joined them. But that transition was over a couple of months, I think, from Gemma leaving, and it was a crazy time, you know, when I think back to the fights and the arguments, and everyone was in a bad way with drugs. It didn't, to be honest, I didn't think it was going to last. I thought, this isn't going to last, but I'll kick myself if I don't do it. So yeah, that would have been very late 2004, and then I joined the band January 2005, I guess, more formally, really.